Okay, so today I want to talk about the times when we want to go back to a time, a place, a space where we felt our happiest, and how that is really not what we want to be doing. I will explain why in the video, so let's get into it. Hi and welcome to Oakdoor Door. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Claire Attio. For those that are returning subscribers, thank you, thank you, thank you. And how many times have we all heard or all said, because we're all guilty of it, I just want to go back there. I just want to be happy like I was then. I just want to go back. And yet that's in the past. We can't go back. And the reason we can't go back is because if we go back, if that's what we manifest, then we go through the period of time that got us to where we are in the moment that we say we want to go back. We go through that same ish that has us wishing we could go back. We're just repeating cycles. We haven't taken the lessons. And this comes up quite a lot with the client group that I'm working at the moment, because they say, oh, well, I just wish I could go back then. I just wish that, da, 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 da. And I always stop them and say, well, if you go back there, you're just going to end up here again. And you don't want to be here. And this applies to all of us. What we want to be doing when we have beautiful, happy memories is to go, okay, I want to rebuild myself, rebuild my life in such a way that I can attain that level of happiness. But I'm also going to look at why I lost it. What occurred in my life? What actions did I take? What responsibilities did I not take that meant that that happened and I lost it? And let's work on building a more solid foundation so that hopefully in the future I don't lose it again. So it's not about repeating cycles. When we're wishing we go back to a time where we are happy, what we're actually doing is we are saying to the universe, hey universe, I'm in a really shitty place right now, but actually I obviously think that I deserve it because I want to go back to time where I was happy, just so that I can kind of be on that downward spiral of getting to where I am now all over again. And I know I'm being facetious when I say that, but that's actually what we're doing. That's what we're doing. That's what we're manifesting when we say we wish we could go back. Rather than sitting in the uncomfortability of where we are now and going, right, how did I get here? And what can I change so I don't get myself here again? And yes, there will be times when that involves other people, but don't be deluded into blaming and shaming others that are involved. We all play a part. I'm not saying that, especially if you have gone through some really adverse and traumatic events, to say that you deserved. I'm not saying that in any way, shape or form, but I am saying that there was a part that we played within those dynamics of what you find yourself in currently that are uncomfortable. And it's about taking ownership, first of all, of those dynamics, of the part that you played, and then doing the inner work and maybe doing some personal development to ensure that you've got the tools in your toolbox needed so that you don't play that part again. That doesn't negate if somebody has been really adverse with you that you condone their behavior. I'm not saying that. But I am saying that each and every one of us needs to take responsibility for the parts we played in any given dynamic. And what do we need not to play that same role again should those dynamics come back round to us in a different form? This is how we grow. This is how we expand. This is how we learn. It's by sitting in the uncomfortability, not wishing that we go back to a happier time. Because all we're doing is going back. We're not going forward. When we sit in that uncomfortability, when we do the inner work, when we take responsibility, when we start to learn what we need to learn, or put more tools in our toolbox to help us cope better, to be able to communicate better, to be able to confront the red flags as we see them. That means we're moving forward. And we can hold the hope that the level of happiness that we'd had in the past, we do attain again, but in a much healthier way, in a much more conductive way, in a much more sustainable way, so that we can have those levels of happiness again, but that we are better equipped to sustain them. When we start to do that, it's really profound. We really start to create positive changes for ourselves. How many people have jumped from one relationship to another, thinking that they've healed and it's all they've learnt, and yet they repeat that cycle. I know that's been my journey. The biggest part of my issues within those dynamics was I was looking at the soul of the person rather than the physical representation of the person in front of me. I was choosing to ignore the red flags and kept looking at the soul. And yet, if a person doesn't want to be represented by their soul, that is their free will. Just because they have a beautiful soul doesn't mean that they're going to be a beautiful person in this physical reincarnation. They have the free will to choose. And so we are creating and living our lives with an illusion that we've actually built ourselves. That's the responsibility we take. Those are the lessons that we need to learn. That's just one example. But we all, in some form or another, have the habit of putting on rose-coloured glasses because we don't want to face the truth of the matter. And that's on us. But when we do take off those rose-coloured glasses, when we do start to face the truth of any given situation, that is when we start to have that forward movement. That is when we start to be able to rebuild on solid foundations for ourselves. And that is when we start to build an inner happiness that nobody can take from us. That's what makes it sustainable. It's not reliant on others. It lives within us. It cannot be taken, it cannot be disrupted. And will we have ebbs and flows within that? Of course we will, that's life. But the essence that we've actually built, and to the level that we've actually built that within us, cannot be taken. And that makes each and every one of us immensely powerful. That's when we start to empower ourselves. When we start to have those high vibing emotions that are created from our own inner being. And they cannot be disrupted, they cannot be taken, because they live within us. They are not reliant on external factors. It's awesome. It's an awesome place to be. That's where the protection comes from. When people talk about, especially in the spiritual realm, you're highly protected. Yes, there is other realms, angelic realms, there is divine beings. I'm not negating that. But your core foundation is because you have done that inner work, or you're doing that inner work. You're laying those solid foundations. That cannot be taken, that cannot be disrupted. And that's what makes you immensely powerful and hugely protected. And it scares other people. I'm not going to deny it scares other people. Society has been created from a level of fear and dysfunction that when they meet somebody who cannot be swayed, that cannot be bought, that cannot be manipulated through fear, when cannot be disrupted by external factors, their frequency doesn't change, it's constant within a high vibration. Obviously you're going to get the ebbs and flows, but your ebbs and flows will be in those higher vibrations. They don't ebb and flow into the lower vibrations. When you get to that point, because you've built yourself a solid foundation by taking ownership and doing the inner work, you become a force to be reckoned with. An impenetrable force. That's why you become scary. And most of the targeting that has been going on within the spiritual community to shut people down is done before you get there, because once you've got there, they can't get in. You become immovable. You become impenetrable. You become a force to be reckoned with. So don't hope, wish, desire, try to manifest high points in your past, because all you're going to do is bring those cycles of where you are now back into your life. There is nothing wrong with saying you would like that type of energy, that type of happiness in the future. But don't try and go back to the past. Don't wish for the past. Don't manifest for a past situation, because you will just recreate the whole cycle. You can't get to cherry pick. It comes as a package. Do that inner work while sat in that uncomfortability. If you're uncomfortable already, then what's a little bit more? you know, whilst you're there, do it. We get given these ebbs so that we can sit and be reflective. We can do that inner work. We can do the healing that is needed. We can start to build our toolbox. Use your times, your ebbs wisely, so that you can thoroughly enjoy the flows when that wheel starts to turn. If you've liked this video, then hit that like button. If you've not yet subscribed, then hit the subscribe and the notification bell so that you get notified when new videos go live. Until next time, sweet souls, take care. Bye-bye.